today we're going to talk about inheritance, and we got to go back for a minute to what is an object and what is a class. Now, just to review, an object is an actual physical thing, but a class is a template or a blueprint for that object. So primarily what we're going to be talking about today are classes, not objects. We'll shift it over into instances later. But a class is a blueprint or a template for these objects, these instances, these things that we will create that will exist and function. So a class, maybe we have one that's, say, a bank account. Okay? It has two major components. It has attributes, which are things that the object knows. And it also has methods, which are things that an object can do. So it attributes what it knows, and methods are things that it can do. So we're going to extend that a little bit. Now, you've already seen a situation where two objects, two instances of classes can talk to each other. But normally, that's just what we call association. There's no special relationship. It's just two objects talking to each other in the same way that two people might talk to each other. Inheritance is a special kind of relationship. The second special relationship we've already looked at is we can have two objects where one contains, or what we call composition, one contains other objects. For example, if we had a car object, it can contain several door objects, right? Okay, so what's special about inheritance is it's a relationship that's defined along very, very specific terms. It is not about code sharing. Once we get to the point where we're actually programming, we're going to see that there is a lot of code sharing involved, but it's not about code sharing. What it's about is an inheritance relationship. And you guys have heard of inheritance before. Where have you heard of it before?
Wills.
Okay, yeah, okay. So that's called estate inheritance. And in estate inheritance, you might have, say, some parents and some kids, and kid 1 and kid 2. And the way that estate inheritance works, parents have some money. What happens to that money when they pass on, assuming normal situation? Yeah, it goes to the kids, but it gets split, right? Okay. So if there were two kids, all things being equal, they would get 50% each, right? Okay. Where else have you heard of inheritance?
Similar to current relationship with inheritance of genes.
Exactly. Okay, so the second type of inheritance that you've heard of is genetic inheritance. Okay? And with genetic inheritance, you have a mother and you have a father. Okay? And they're each the parents of, say, you. Okay? And how does genetic inheritance work? What comes down from your parents? Okay, so traits come down. How do they come down? How do genes come down? Who gets, how much do you get from each parent? Okay, so yeah, you get about 50% from each of your parents, but of course, which traits you actually get, it will be dependent upon which traits are dominant, which are recessive, and more details within genetics and how genes interrelate. But basically, you get half from each of your parents, right? And then there's a third kind of inheritance. Does anybody remember a third kind of inheritance? Okay. You did encounter it before in your life, but you may not have thought about it as inheritance. And whether it was presented as inheritance is not necessarily
Knowledge of mankind.
okay, that's a new one for me. Go with it.
Essentially, we go to school and other people have learned things, and we pick up on those that we essentially already have applied and learned and whatnot, and we try to add to that.
Yeah, that's in some ways it's very similar to estate inheritance. But yeah, Newton said, "If I have seen further, it is because I was standing on the shoulders of giants." And absolutely, knowledge can be inherited in the same way that money can be inherited, although of course knowledge can be replicated, which is why computers are cool, because we can easily replicate knowledge, right? Or one of the reasons. But no, actually, I'm going to go back to high school biology. Okay? And we might have, say, a class. Okay? And under this class, we're going to have one or more subclasses. We'll get to that term in a minute. But we're going to have one or more, say, families or orders. And if we say that this class, everything within this class has a backbone, okay, we know that any subclass will also have a backbone. Okay. This is called, class inheritance. And there's a whole chain of it. Does anybody remember the chain?
Genus, something to that effect.
So kingdom, phylum,
Yeah.
class, order, family, genus, and species. So they have a whole hierarchy here, okay? And we're all in the animal kingdom, and so we share certain traits with all animals. We're all multicellular. We're all motile. We can move around, right? So that differs from another kingdom where plants generally speaking, not motile, or bacteria fall into a different kingdom as well, and they're single cell. Okay? So this is a very, very complex system, but it all relates to a really simple set of rules. Okay? The first part is the rule of inheritance, okay? Which is anything that you say is true about the superclass, anything true of the superclass, is also true of the subclass. So now we have to start talking about these relationships. And the way that we would express this in UML is we define one class and let's say we'll call it vehicle. Okay? And then another class that we'll call car. This is the superclass. Some people use the term parent. I don't like parent because that tends to confuse with different types of inheritance. This is the subclass. Now, if we draw an inheritance relationship, okay, then the rule is that anything true of the superclass is also true of the subclass. So let's talk about, okay, what's the primary method of a vehicle? Move. Okay. So if we were to say that a vehicle can move, what can we say about a car? What do we know about a car? Okay, a car can move. Now, does it work in reverse? Not necessarily. So a car always has, give me something.
Probably 4 wheels.
Okay, so let's just say it has wheels. So that would be an attribute of it. Does every vehicle have wheels? Not a tank, not a helicopter. Airplanes do, but that's just for takeoff and landing. So they have a different purpose. So the rule is anything true of the superclass is also true of the subclass. Okay? And then separately we have a test. Okay? The test of inheritance is either is a or is a kind of. Okay? The way we state this is the subclass is a or is a kind of superclass. Okay? So let's test this out. Is a car a kind of vehicle? Okay? In this case, it's both are true. A car is a vehicle and a car is a kind of a vehicle. Right? Okay. So we know that this passes our test. Now, if you get to the very advanced parts of object-oriented programming, there are people who will dispute these two to some extent. But for the most part, and certainly for the rest of the course, we can definitely apply the rule, and we can definitely apply the test, no matter what. Okay? So this is the test of inheritance, not should these two things share code. Okay? Because we might say, well, you can open a car, and you do that by opening a door. Okay? But let me ask you a question. Is a door a kind of car? No. So do they share an inheritance relationship? No. They don't. They don't. In this case, all we've defined actually is association. We haven't even gone as far as containment. We can flag that specially.